charge of SNAP benefits. The government that's in charge of food. The government that decides.
While he's doing his rant, the government is not in charge of food. Guys, I hear too many times people sitting here bitching and complaining about the prices of food. But bro, you can start your own fucking garden. You can change the way that you fucking eat and you can do things differently. Can you not? My thing is this. You have the ability to control your own future and your own outcomes. And you can navigate around all that bullshit. Point blank period. He can try to sit here and say that they control your food, bro. If you as a man is going to sit here and tell me that you're going to allow another man to control what you do for you and your family, you's a bitch.
Wait a second.
Long dick.
Not feeding the babies we have. Why does the government want more? We're not feeding the babies we have. Why does the government want more? I know you're thinking, what's your statistic? Where's your proof that we're not feeding the babies we have? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that my toddler's daycare just opened a food bank in the fucking lobby? My toddler's daycare just opened a food bank in the fucking lobby because his classmates might not be able to eat.
Why my man so mad? Like, let's dive into it a little bit. Why is he so mad? Now, just hearing just straight off the rip, right? He talking about the babies and, you know, his child's daycare, open up a food pantry. It was like, okay, they open up a food pantry. Cool. And I actually was having a conversation with this because this video, my babe sent it to me. And as we were watching it, I literally had to stop the video because I couldn't watch it no more. Because hearing him do all his ranting and raving and complaining, it was kind of like all I heard was victim. That's all I heard. Victim, victim, victim. And I don't like listening to people that are victims, right? Because at the end of the day, we all go through our own struggles, right? And as men, especially men, I cannot stand listening to men with that victim mindset, right? He's talking about feeding the babies. Last time I checked, and anybody correct me if I'm wrong. I understand, you know, the government and them being able to help their citizens. I get that. And I'm not knocking that because everybody at some point in life, they need a, not necessarily hand out, but a hand up. They need a little bit of assistance. Perfectly fine. But last time I checked, it was the parents who had those children's job to feed them, right? Now, if you can't feed your child, no, scratch that. Typically, in general, people who were already struggling, if they have a child, they're going to struggle even more. Now, here's one thing that I also learned as, you know, just time went on and, you know, out here hustling, grinding, all like that, right? I remember hearing a lady, she was saying the middle class is kind of like you stuck, right? Because you're not in the upper part of like the classes to where you have enough money to really like thrive, right? And you're not low class enough to where you can like qualify for like government benefits and things like that. So, but here's the one thing that I do know. Even within the middle class, we all have a choice on how we operate, how we move and maneuver throughout life. And no matter what, you can survive, let's just say off average income, like 50 grand. You can survive off that. Would it be tough? Depends. But like you ain't gonna be living the best of life. No, but you can survive, right? Now, just remember I said that you can survive off of middle class income, 50 grand, right? And especially when you got two incomes together, you bring both of those together. Let's say, you know, one party's making like 50, the other party making like, let's just say 35, 40. So that's anywhere between like, what, 70 on the low end all the way up to 90, right? It's hypothetically. Now, mind you, I think in Michigan, the average household income is, I want to say it's like 65,000. I'm going to do a little quick research as we continue watching the video. Let's get it.
We got the government who's in charge of SNAP benefits. The government that's in charge of food. The government that decides.
While he's doing his rant, the government is not in charge of food. Guys, I hear too many times people sitting here bitching and complaining about the prices of food. But bro, you can start your own fucking garden. You can change the way that you fucking eat and you can do things differently. Can you not? My thing is this. You have the ability to control your own future and your own outcomes, and you can navigate around all that bullshit. Point blank, period. He can try to sit here and say that they control your food, bro. If you as a man is gonna sit here and tell me that you're gonna allow another man to control what you do for you and your family, you's a bitch. Straight up.
Where our fucking money is gonna go, it's gonna give $40 billion to Argentina. They're gonna build a fucking ballroom to have big old gilded dances. They're gonna send how much fucking money for missiles? But
Now, here's one thing I also want to make a comment on when it comes to the government as far as their spending and things like that. I am a firm believer. Like right now with this whole government shutdown, I am a firm believer that anytime politicians have spats back and forth for all that bullshit where the American people are suffering from that, like this government shutdown, those officials should not be getting paid. Straight up. They should not be getting paid. Benefits, just like how when your benefits get cut off when you on government assistance, if you don't file the proper documentation by a certain period of time, just like that, all those politicians should have their Medicare, not Medicare, whatever their health coverage is, they should get that shit stripped. They shouldn't get no paychecks. So if they got loans on their houses, they should be incurring costs. They should all of the things that the American citizens will have to deal with, they should have to deal with the same thing, because it does not make no type of sense that they can make all these decisions, have the government shut down, and everybody else is paying the price for that. That's bullshit. That's the one thing I can say. Like, all right, I can feel on where you're going with that a little bit, but at the same time, I'm not going to necessarily say that everything on what he's saying is valid. They're going to send money to Argentina. And it's like, okay, yeah, definitely some of that shit. Some of it sounds like some bullshit, but some of this stuff, they're going to make big banquet halls and all like that. Yeah, because we as a people allow a lot of this shit to happen. But continue.
Babies we already got, we're not going to fucking feed. We already don't feed the babies. And the government's out here saying we're under-babied. We're not under-babied. We're underpaid. You want more babies? Fucking pay us. Give us the money to feed our fucking kids.
Listen to what he said. Give us the money to feed our kids. Bro, you asking for a handout, and right then and there, I don't agree with. Point blank fucking period. See, it's one thing when you actually come from like the struggle for real, you grow up through that shit and you figure out how to maneuver through that, but you want way more in life. So you start looking at the people who have more in life and you start to listen to them and see what they went through. And what you will learn is a lot of people that's actually millionaires now, a lot of people like to talk about, oh, well, the super rich and they've been rich and they got old money and all like that. Bro, that shit is a small ass number of the population. There are millionaires that are being created every damn day in America because of opportunities and everything. And I talked to a lot of people that has actually bust their ass and got where they went to. And if you actually listen to a lot of their stories, bro, majority of them started out broke as fuck. Kid you not. Go on YouTube right now and just look up successful millionaires or some shit like that and just listen to their stories. If you listen to their stories, every single time you will hear started out poor, family was poor, they probably went to college or they started their first business and it failed and there was ups and downs, and then because they stayed at it, something ended up fucking falling through, and then bam, they finally found the opportunity and they ran with it. That's what you would hear. But then you have people like this, oh, you should pay us more. What? Bro, you telling me you can't go get your ass out there and hustle, bro? Like, that's one thing you cannot go tell a person who hustles, who grind their ass off, you can't tell them, oh yeah, they should pay us more. It's like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? You sound like a bitch.
Could you try that? Could you think that one through? Could you pull up one Excel spreadsheet that says pay the moms and dads and they'll fuck more? Who wants to fuck right now with these bills? Who wants to, huh? Who wants to nut and have it count? Right now. When any moment, your fucking job could be taken by AI or because of some fucking terror.
You see what I'm saying? This is misinformation. Your job's going to be taken at any moment. Your job can be taken by AI. Once again, you sound like a bitch. And trust me, guys, listen. My man's info is down in the credits. So you can go look at all his content. And I'm going to tell y'all straight up. Some people jobs, you absolutely fucking right, is going to be taken by AI because it's more efficient. It's one of those things where it's like what y'all keep failing to realize, right? Because y'all listen to certain individuals that have this victim mindset. It is not a business's job to give you a job. It is a business's job to satisfy their customers profitably. It's profits. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, you should value your people. I'm not saying you shouldn't. But let's stop sitting here playing games and acting as if these people are above the job themselves. If something, just like the 2000s, right? When internet came out or whatever, and it was like, oh, Y2K and all this blah bullshit, right? Don't you think that the internet took away a lot of people's jobs? But it also created a lot of jobs. It created a lot of opportunity. What do you think AI is doing? AI might be taking some people's jobs, but it's also going to create a bunch of people's jobs. It's also going to create an opportunity for a lot of people to make money. So when y'all sit here and say what y'all saying, it's kind of like, bro, no, AI is not taking everybody's jobs. So y'all need to stop perpetuating that narrative. Learn AI. That way you can become useful for a job or useful for yourself as far as creating some type of business where you're satisfying a need. Utilize it. Because the people that's utilizing AI, oh, they gonna be the ones taking your damn job.
Because some psychopath from the Epstein plane decides on a willy-nilly whim that he's mad at Canada or some shit. Over and over again, I keep getting told, it's our fault. It's our fault that America's this way. Well, it's real fucking crazy. When I look at this government, with how much fucking money they make and how many fucking vacations they get to use, tell me how we don't get paid family leave. Tell me how the minimum wage at $7.25 just makes just enough sense. Have Dr. Oz of all fucking people stand next to RFK Jr. telling us that we're underbabied and we need to do work. Fuck you. Do your job.
My thing is, what is his job? So if Dr. Oz simply saying that they're underbabied, bro, they simply talking about from the population standpoint. That's all he talking about. He talking about some who wants to fuck or bust a nut when you broke and blah, blah. There's a lot of poor people. There's a lot of broke people. So what are we talking about here? There's a lot. They always fucking. And if you really want to be 100, think about it like this. Why is the fact that the individuals that don't have a lot of resources, that's just making it by, that's struggling, why do you think they have so many kids in some instances? It's because they don't really got shit else to do but fuck. So if that's all that they got to do but fuck, what is my man's talking about? Because I'm not even going to necessarily say my man's his pockets ain't hitting. I'm not going to say that because it might be, you know. But when he was sitting here saying, you know, his daughter, the daycare, they got a food pantry open and all like that. Like, once again, I was having a conversation with my babe and she was like, well, you know, daycares get bridge card and stuff like that. Well, I'm sitting here thinking like, wait a minute, what? Because let's think about a daycare. A daycare is a business. And because they are a business, they do what? They get revenue for providing the service. So you telling me that a business who's charging, I mean, daycare in some place, I know they cost like $2,000, maybe a month, I think $2,000 a month. So that's like what? That's like $500 a week in some places, $200, $250, something like that per kid, right? And now I don't know about in other states, but I think it's like you need one person per 8 kids, I think, right? Something like that, right? So you got 8 kids. Let's say let's keep it easy math. We're gonna do $250 a pop, right? $250 a pop a week per kid. That's $1,000 per kid per month. So if I got rough numbers, if I got one person that's managing, let's just say the 8 kids. Let's say they can do 8 of them, right? That's $8,000 for 8 kids per month. Now, of course, in a lot of instances, you got way more than 8 kids in a facility. Now, yes, I understand you got insurance. I understand you got all of these things. Cool. But of $8,000, I think daycare workers don't even get paid a lot. I think they get paid like a little bit more than minimum wage, maybe. I will hope so. So let's just say let's put it at $10 an hour, right? $10 an hour, 40 hours a week. That's what? $400, right? At $400, 4, 8, 12, $1,600 a month, right? Because per week, right? Which it really ain't nothing, but let's just stick with those numbers. So if it's only costing them like 1,600, let's just round off at $2,000. We still got what, $6,000. Add the food into there. You probably gonna spend $1,000 because you only feeding them what? Breakfast, lunch, and then a snack, right? And that's only Monday through Friday, right? So let's just put the budget at 1,000. So let's say run the facility. Let's say expenses, electricity, the water. Let's say we looking at what we was at. We was at $3,000. Let's just throw in another $2,000 for the electricity, the building, all like that. Nope, let's throw in $3,000 because we want to make sure we can pay the lease and all like that, right? So where we at? We at 6. We got $2,000 left over. Fair? Out of the $2,000, we probably gonna add the owner's compensation, or maybe if it's only 8 kids, the owner probably the one who's teaching them or whatever, doing a thing with them, right? So we can still keep the owner. Let's bump the owner up to $3,000, right? Running your own company, whatever. So you got $1,000 left over. It's not much, but remember, this is a continuation over the month. So you're not spending, you want to stay profitable, but you're not spending the extra grand. It's like if something pop up, you know what I'm saying, you find little ways to make more money, whatever, because you got to build your business, get more kids, and the more kids you got, the more money you got. And remember, 250 was on the low end, not on the high end. With that being said, how are you broke? How are you using food stamps to buy food for the business when you're a business? I understand supplements and all like that, cool. But when my man sitting here doing all this bitching and complaining, talking about some give us more money, minimum, you should be able to live off minimum wage. Minimum wage is not meant for you as an adult to live off on, bro. That's one thing that always, y'all remember when they was doing the campaign for $15 an hour for minimum wage? So man, listen, when I first even heard that, I'm like, bro, that shit dumb as hell. Why the fuck would minimum wage go up to $15 an hour? What do you think is going to happen? The businesses now have to pay double per employee, and you think they just going to keep the same amount of staff on payroll? There's a reason why McDonald's and Burger King and all like that before COVID, it was a reason why they only paid minimum wage. Those jobs were not for grown-ass adults to be trying to take care of no families. Those jobs were for teenagers as well as college students. Now, if an adult wanted to fill themselves up in them roles or whatever, so be it. But that's why you go and you attain some type of skill to where it's a profitable skill set to where you can go and add value to a company and get paid, compensated very well for it, right or wrong. So when they was making this argument, it's like, wait a minute, bro. Some people that actually got like certain little licenses and stuff like that don't even make 15 an hour, or at that time did make 15 an hour. So it's like, don't you think that they pay will have to shoot up as well? And how do you think they're going to compensate it for, like, on the business side? How do you think they're going to compensate for that pay? So it's like when people be sitting here trying to make this, oh, you should pay the people all this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right. And if I pay them all this, don't you think that I'm going to make the motherfucking customer pay for that too? So to give you $15 an hour is going to turn right back around in the consumer who probably is already struggling, as according to him, they're going to pay more for the product. That's what a business is for. Like I honestly believe everybody should be forced in school, education, family, whatever. Everybody should be forced to learn business, because once you start understanding business and how it operates, everything is a fucking business. Everything, school, hospitals, healthcare, is all a business. And once you understand that, you will stop being a fucking victim and crying about this shit. You wouldn't be doing all that because you understand if we are paying people $15 an hour now, guess what? Milk just shot the fuck up. Why? Because we got to pay people more to do the same jobs. And then you say, oh, AI is going to take my job. Yeah, motherfucker, because you want to complain, but yet you want more money. But yet if I put a robot in here to make it more efficient, I don't got to worry about calling off, pay, leave, pay time, none of that shit. I don't got to worry about none of that. I can remove you from here, period, and become more efficient, become more profitable. So what you got to do as an individual, you got a few different options. You got to grow your own food, be self-sustainable, become an entrepreneur, go to get a skill where your job is not replaceable, plumbing, electrician, construction work, some shit like that. AI can't replace that. That is a human being that needs to be there. AI can't replace that. And I don't care who you are. Anybody can try to argue me on this. Anybody. I give you all open space to argue with me on this subject. Because I'm a business person, straight up. I give it to you. Argue with me on this subject. Drop it in the comments. Tell me where I'm wrong at. Because I want to hear it. But make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.